3799.
We welcome back Carol Raso from Elderwerks as our guest this week. It's been a while, Carol.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for having me on today.
Good to
It's
have you
nice to be
back.
Always a
Good to
pleasure.
have you back.
It is always a pleasure. Now, maybe it would be appropriate to start off kind of at a high-level overview of what Elderwerks is and what Paxum is.
Well, thank you. Yes, Elderwerks, which is the company I work for directly, we really help seniors, families, and also professionals. So nurses, social workers, and professionals finding really any kind of help that they need, any kind of assistance. And we help them with referrals to proper organizations and places. Paxum, which is our sister company, Paxum is senior move managers. They really help people downsizing, reorganizing, decluttering. We can do everything that's needed to be done, or as little as you want us to do.
Wonderful. The topic we want to kind of ask Carol to share with us is something she's expert at, and we want to maybe take this time to walk our listeners through the list of things that a family needs to consider when mom and or dad are not safe to live alone anymore. So maybe we'll perhaps start off by the pros and cons of staying at home versus moving to a facility. That's always kind of the age-old conundrum some families face.
Yes, it is. You're right. I think, first of all, the important thing is you have to figure out, are they safe at home? Are your families safe and your loved ones? And, of course, none of us want to leave our homes.
Sure.
So that's always an issue.
Mm-hmm.
And very often, I think that when we start to see changes with mom and dad or our loved ones, that's the time we need to start really thinking, hopefully before that, but that doesn't always happen.
Right.
So we start thinking about what are the needs and the options as things start to change. Often when people are visiting over the holidays or you're there for a visit, you start to notice when you have more than just the weekly dinner together or going out that things have changed. I think as we age, we're always good at sort of hiding what the problems might be from the agent
Sure.
group, and so consequently things go along as normal. So you have to be zeroed in on that. And when that happens and you see that maybe they're not cooking as much or it's more difficult to do things that are new or different, maybe there's been a fall, a lot of different things, that's when you really need to zero in and figure out, can they still stay at home or not?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that you need to consider is someone there overseeing them.
Mm-hmm.
So we have agencies and companies like Right at Home who can help you with that, because basically you need someone as an oversight. Mm-hmm. I have families ongoing that we work with daily, and I have several recently that have said to me, well, they're only alone during the day. Perhaps mom or dad might live with you. That's another issue. And I'm only gone to work. You know, I leave at 10. My daughter comes home at 4. So there's really not a problem. And my question is, do you know what's going on when you're not there? Are they just parked in front of the television set? Socialization is a big issue. Are they able to make their own meal? What if someone comes to the door? There's a lot of dangers here. So I think that staying at home, we're at Elderwerks, we really encourage and try to work with families to keep people at home as long as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But we're only able to do that with assistance and help from our partners like Right at Home, bringing in caregivers on an ongoing basis. And when you say caregivers, of course, everyone right away, especially the mom and dad and the older adult that's going to have the care, thinks, oh no, I don't want anybody at my house. I always tell the story about my husband had Alzheimer's, and I did have a caregiver for him part-time, and I couldn't wait until she got there. I thought, oh, this is going to be really great.
Sure.
And I can go do my stuff. And she arrived, and then I looked around and thought, oh, good, now there's 3 of us. Now what? So you have to have a plan,
Yes.
and you've got to work with the agency and the people that really are overseeing it, like our host here today, to really find out what are we going to do when you start this, and look at it more as companion care, as someone to help them, someone to take them out on a few outings. Weather is hopefully going to continue to improve. They could do walking. Do they like to go to the store?
Sure.
Maybe a movie, something that would keep them interested versus being home alone all day. And if they need to be home alone all day, then you need to have a caregiver that's going to be able to engage them. And that's where the people that are in charge of the agencies and overseeing, like our host today, really come in and help you with that.
Now, I know that you call in a lot of different professionals to help in different capacities with your families. Could you perhaps discuss some of the tools that are used by geriatric care managers or neuropsych folks to assess the level of care needed, kind of how that formal process sometimes plays out?
Certainly. Well, initially, we do a lot of discussion and input we take from the family or the people we're working with, and a lot of this can be done by phone initially with us. If there's indications of some memory issues, and the response, and I have this in my own family, is always, well, they're just a little forgetful.
A little.
Yes, exactly. But as soon as you start seeing that things are slipping, bills aren't paid, checks can't be written, they can't keep track of groceries, or you open the door and find that there's 20 boxes of cornflakes instead of 1 or 2. These are great signs, and when that happens, it's always good to consult the professionals. We work with numerous geri-psych, neuropsych people. We were a lot of the doctors and nurses. I mean, we've been in the industry for a long time, so a lot of these professionals know us, and we try to encourage our families to, one, get an evaluation.
Sure.
I think that's very important. Often it starts with the primary care doctor, and primary care doctors are excellent, but they really are not neurologists when we have memory issues and so forth. So we like to go a step beyond that and make suggestions to either locate one, or we can give some referrals. Another big issue, of course, are the documents that are in place, because often the loved ones will say, well, I don't think I need to have anything checked. I'm fine. We're doing fine over here. Do you have powers of attorney in place? So we also try to point them in the direction of elder law attorneys. An elder law attorney is someone who is very familiar with the Medicaid process, with the Medicare process, with all the powers of attorneys that are in place and how they affect you. Today with the internet, of course, there's a great deal of information,
Sure.
and that's helpful.
Well, I think that's why you need an elder law attorney even more.
Yes, but I agree with you, because sometimes people go onto the internet and say, oh, I've got it all right here. It becomes really too overwhelming. And the other thing is some of the forms that are on the internet, because of course everyone's looking to save money. You say attorney and people see dollar signs. We work with attorneys that support our business, and we support theirs. And what I mean by that is they do a lot of presentations for us. We're very big on education for the community as well as for professionals. So we have a lot of attorneys that do presentations for us, and these are attorneys that are willing to at least talk with you and have a conversation and start to point you in the right direction of what your options are. And then from there you can decide.
I think you recently had an event with one of your attorneys called Hope is Not a Plan.
Yes.
So-
Yes, exactly. Very
Wow.
good. Hope is not a plan.
That's a good reminder.
Yeah.
And a plan is really the biggest issue, and getting a plan. And that's really what we try to start working with them with initially. And I do want to mention that we don't charge for our services. But I don't want our listeners out there to think if it's too good to be true, it must not be legal.
Right.
Basically, we are funded. Our funding comes from communities and agencies. If we do referrals to them and our clients choose one of the referrals we give them, then we would get a small placement fee. But about 70% of what we do, we're not paid for. We also do a lot with veterans and veteran associations and try to help people with aid and assistance and other types of things. So there is help out there, but you have to reach out, and that initial call is always difficult for
Right.
families.
So you can help families overcome some of that burden they feel of being overwhelmed by the amount of information they have to wade through. You can cut through it for
That's
them.
our job. That's what we do every day, is try to simplify things and really try to lead them down the right path. And I think also another important point is that families don't really have a handle on what the financial situation is, and they really don't know the costs of things. And of course, if we're working with older adults, many of them have worked and saved their whole life, and the reason they've saved all that money is because they want to leave it to their children.
Right.
That in today's reality doesn't always happen, but there are ways, of course, through your attorney legally to shelter some money for different reasons. There's gifting, there's sheltering money if you need additional care. And the other thing we have to determine is when they cannot stay at home, then what are the levels of care that are available from there?
Now, how do you, I assume you have kind of a process in place of gathering that information about what type of facilities they need and want, and then match that against what's available in their area?
Yes, we do. Actually, we're very active with almost all communities and facilities of all levels of care. We encourage them, the families, to tour and see certain facilities. You don't want to be overrun by going to too many locations.
Sure.
So that's really our job, is to narrow down why certain locations are really more appropriate for the person that's going, or persons who have to move. So we have ongoing discussions with them. We have great partnership and relationships with many of the communities, many agencies like yourselves, of course, the attorneys, financial planners. We work with real estate brokers, so we can help you get a plan and a process in place and simplify it and make that easier for you as we work through the steps. I want to mention quickly that we do not just have a conversation with you and that's it, and now you're on your own. So we continue to follow up. We're very person-centered, family-orientated to what is happening with these people.
Excellent.
So we continue to stay in touch. We continue to help you along the way and guide you through the different steps, because we have many people that could stay at home, and then maybe after a period of time we really need to look at communities. Better we're prepared ahead than to be doing it in a crisis situation
Absolutely,
or
yes.
last minute. That's the big important factor. So often what will happen is we help them with in-home assistance initially. Let's get used to that idea. Let's hopefully build a relationship between the caregiver and the overseer in that company, so that when mom or dad or whomever it might be, or a spouse, has to move into a community, they can possibly transition with that person still making some visits along the way to keep that continuity going until they're comfortable and familiar with the next place.
Sure.
Right.
And sometimes when you start off at home, do you sort of help the family establish, I don't know, milestones or things that if this occurs, then this is our plan B, C, or D?
That's always in the thought process, Kathy. And does it always work? No, of
No.
course
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
Human beings.
Yes, exactly. And I think we're all guilty of this. I know in my case, my own mother, who has passed away several years ago now, but was living in independent living and had macular degeneration, which continued to progress. And I said to my family, I think that we need to look for assisted living for her. Oh, yes, well, you know, I'm working and this and that, and let's wait till summer. Well, then she fell. So then we were in a crisis, of course,
Right.
and she was in rehabilitation, which is another thing we help people find, rehabilitation locations before they have to make a commitment. So,
And that's fantastic because, like a community, like a community, okay, each one has their specialties and
exactly.
so.
Well, the other thing that happens is if you have an adult, older adult that has a fall, or any adult that has a fall, and then they go into the hospital, and then they'll say, well, now you have to go into rehabilitation. Here's a list of 5 places, and we're checking them out. You really don't have time to find those. So we're able then to go ahead and say to you, yes, we work with this one, we know about that one, why don't you tour these 2, they're closer for you, that type of thing. So it isn't as much of a crisis. The caseworker at the hospital will help you and assist you getting the person there and being sure that the bed is open and all of that. We can assist you with knowing more about it before you go.
Right.
So for example, you would know the facilities that currently at any given time that perhaps will have Medicaid beds open if need
Well,
be? Or?
the answer to that is no.
Oh, okay.
It's impossible on the Medicaid side.
I got
So let's define a minute Medicare and Medicaid.
Yeah, that's a good. Yep.
Medicare is obviously the backup insurance or the insurance, and then you have a supplemental for those people that are get to an age where you can have Medicare. So that's going to pay your health and all that type of thing. If you do not have funds to go into a community, or your funds and assets are low and you're going to be out of money in a short period of time, then you must apply and you will be transferred and transitioned over to Medicaid. And that's public assistance to pay the difference of what you cannot pay in a community. It's impossible for us to know what beds are open because that population changes so
And I think there's a
often.
waiting period a lot of times.
Many times there is,
Yeah.
yes. There many times. But if you need assistance and you don't have funds, we can certainly help you in directing you to options in the right direction and where to call and find out.
Now, I'll hear the term sometimes from families about Medicaid pending. Does that mean they have made an application but have not heard back?
Yes, that should mean that they have applied to Medicaid, but there's been no confirmation on it, meaning they don't have a Medicaid number. And these are all things that we try to find out as we're talking to our families. In many cases, it used to be if you were on Medicaid already or you had applied, made the application, you would be able to get into a community that does accept Medicaid. That is not always true today because there is such a wait for them to start getting paid. So basically they're caring for you at no charge is what it comes down to, or a minimal charge for a period of time. So we can help you navigating all of that.
And then also, sometimes it requires that the individual change locations. Also, like they may go into a facility and then if the funds run out, then they have to change locations. So that's something that you can advise about as well.
Yes, that does happen, and most families, of course, and most people going in that I'm talking to directly want to avoid that. They want
Absolutely.
to find the one place that they can stay. And there's different levels and there's different options. It's very complicated. And
Right, absolutely.
and an elder law attorney can assist you, but the other thing I would tell you is if you have some funds and private pay funds and you can get into a community that does accept Medicaid, when your assets are depleted, they will transition you over to Medicaid and assist in that application process so you don't have to pay to have the application done. There's a lot of ins and outs on
Yeah,
it. So
sure.
I would say just call us and
Right, that's that's the key, is to call the expert because you have the experience, and when you're an individual and dealing with this the first time, you have the opportunity to make a lot of mistakes because you haven't had all that experience.
That's true. And I would also say to families or seniors out there that are looking to possibly consider communities, and we're not talking about Medicaid, and we are talking about payment to get in and so forth, to call us ahead, because we can direct you to the proper facilities. Often I find families or the persons themselves that are looking, seniors that think, well, maybe I'm looking for a community now, I'm going to need it in another year or so. They start calling all the communities that are listed, or they go onto the internet. They aren't really the appropriate ones. They ask one or two questions and decide that's not it, or the person hangs up. So we can really direct you properly, and so you're not spending your time looking at things you shouldn't be, that aren't going to be appropriate for you. We can also help you as far as approximate costing and what those options are.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, Sunday, we were at the breakfast table opening up the Chicago Tribune, and there was this wonderful full-page story, and we saw a picture of Jennifer Prell, and was talking about another exciting part of the Paxum part of the business.
Yes, exactly. Jennifer Prell, who oversees Elderwerks and also is the owner of Paxum, had a wonderful spread in the Chicago Tribune. Thank you.
Yes.
Shout out to the Chicago Tribune.
There we go.
And how they had helped a family or a woman that moved into one of the communities and came from a 4,000 square foot home and made the move so easy and just transitioned over very easily. And we do that all the time. We also do it for people that are just moving into a community and downsizing from where they are.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's such neat, because talking about overwhelming, if you've lived like 50 years in the same house, it's quite overwhelming and emotional to make that decision.
Very emotional.
Yeah.
Very. Not a lot of people like to give up a lot of stuff.
Well, I think you're one of them, as I remember.
Yes. In fact, I do. I did get the attic done, by the way, and we got rid of a lot of stuff. So this stuff happens in life, folks. That's why we're here.
Yes, exactly. And I'm not so good at getting rid of things myself. So I've been downsizing and cleaning out for the past 3 years. I'm still working on it. So there we are.
A long-term
I'm only on year one, and my wife is trying to talk me out of getting rid of some of my fishing equipment. That's hard to get rid of.
But what you need to do really is to determine what's important to you, and especially if you're going to make a move. And on the Paxum side, we can help you with that, and we can also help you on the Elderwerks side as well.
Now you have a copy, I know, with you today of I think the best guide I've ever seen. It's the Elderwerks directory. So how could consumers find out more
Shall we
about
hold
that?
this up?
Yeah, let's hold this up into the camera.
Yep. Elderwerks 2017
Is it on?
Yep.
Senior
Yep.
Directory.
Yes. This is a directory that we publish annually, and it's all the services that we know of in the state of Illinois for seniors. Now, the other thing I want to mention is the communities that are in here, and also the agencies that are in here. The phone numbers that are shown for those two, communities and agencies only, come directly to our consultants. That's so we can be sure you're directing in the right area, and we can help you with that. So they don't go to the community directory. But these are all of our network providers. These are many of our partners like yourselves that are in here. This is free to everyone. We publish 10,000 copies a year. We distribute them through senior centers, communities, senior communities, obviously agencies like yourself. If you need copies of it or would like a copy, you can just let us know by calling our office or sending us an email, and we'll be more than happy to arrange for you to get copies.
No, do you happen to have that contact information?
Oh,
handy?
certainly.
I knew you would. Yeah.
The Elderwerks phone number is 847-462-0885. And we can help you with Paxum or with Elderwerks. So we can help you with either one. So you can call us directly for that.
Now your website, what is that?
www.elderworks, and I should spell it so everybody's
Sure.
Yes.
true, because it's a little bit of a trick. It's ELDERWERKS, elderworks.com. And our website is a great resource information, and if you click on resources, we have questions to ask when you're touring facilities. We're always available to tour with you as well and to meet with you further.
Now, how many years, Carol, have you, if you don't mind me asking, have you been working with Elderwerks? It's been a while.
Well, I know from the gray hair it looks like
No,
forever.
However.
Yes, exactly. I've been with Elderwerks for 4 years now, but Elderwerks has been in existence for over 8 years now. So
Yes, that's a wonderful, wonderful service.
Elderworks is a great resource, and as Carol held up the Elderworks resource book again, and that is a great resource because it has everything, so you can get that through Carol's office. Your phone number again?
is 847-462-0885.
Very good. Or you can call any of the Right at Homes. We have some available too.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for being our guest. Time has flown as usual, and we appreciate you coming today.
Thank you very much for helping us to get the word out further, and we look forward to hearing from everyone. Thank you.
Good to
very much
have
for
you, Carol.
having us.
Thank you, Carol.